Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. We're returning to a campaign playthrough that we were playing back at the end of March, so it's been almost 2 full months since we've last taken a look at the game. Well, not the game, we did play the Cold Harbor edition in mid-April, I believe it was. But the campaign that we're playing through is playing as the Union, and so far we've had quite a bit of success. You can see here that we have fought 8 battles and won every single one, from minor skirmishes such as the early days of capturing a train station and a distress call to winning the Battle of Bull Run and the Battle of Shiloh, the 2 major engagements we fought thus far. In our last video, which again was on March 31st, we fought the first of the Peninsula Campaign battles. I believe it was Williamsburg, and the battle we're going to be fighting today is the Battle of Seven Pines. Seven Pines historically was not located west of Richmond. In fact, it was east of Richmond, where General Joseph E. Johnston launched an attack on an isolated Union force in an effort to stop the Federal advance on the Confederate capital of Richmond. Johnston was wounded, the battle was a draw, and Robert E. Lee was called in to replace Johnston, and the rest, as they say, was history. This battle is one of the fictional, sort of loosely based on history type battles that is fought in this game. So, as you can recall, there are a series of major battles, Gaines' Mill being one of them. That's what sort of the garland around the muskets here represent, is it being one of the grand battles over here. There are a series of those which are based off, at least relatively faithfully, based off the historical battle that occurred. Usually the major fights, Bull Run, you've got first Bull Run, second Bull Run, Shiloh, Gaines' Mill, you've got Malvern Hill, Gettysburg, Antietam, Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville. Those kind of engagements are all part of this grand battle setup, where there are other battles which are like Seven Pines, which are considered kind of small battles or skirmishes, and that's the battle we're going to be fighting today, the Battle of Seven Pines. Seven Pines was not a minor engagement. It had more than 50,000 men engaged on both sides and was a key battle in delaying General George B. McClellan's advance on Richmond. Even though Johnston failed to truly beat McClellan, and at the end of the day both armies ended up staying where they were, the engagement did draw McClellan to pause. He always believed he was heavily outnumbered by the Confederates in front of Richmond somehow, and it gave the Confederacy time, Robert E. Lee, almost a full month to reorganize the forces of the Army of Northern Virginia as he took command. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Seven Pines. Real quick, I'm just jumping through here. We don't really have much in the way of stuff we can sell. We could sell Napoleons and ordnance weapons and other weapons in our armory where you can sell weapons to get additional cash, but I believe I'm going to be wanting those weapons in the future. The force we're going to be carrying with us into battle includes 3 divisions of 12,870 soldiers, that's 12,000 infantry, 1,200 artillery, and 750 cavalry. 3 divisions consisting of 12 brigades. My army is not yet able to draw 2,000-man brigades, which will be the next tick up in my career. So if I was to increase army organization, then we would get 2,000-man brigades. But as it stands right now, we've got 1,500 men is the max size of a brigade. We have 3 divisions, each with 4 brigades in it. The first division is made up entirely of crack troops. Springfield's Brigade, the Iron Brigade, and the Irish Brigade. All of these you can see here, if you look at their stats, are all pretty strong units. Look at the morale on the Iron Brigade, the command of 71, the efficiency of 67. A very strong brigade. And then we've got another very strong brigade in the Springfield's Brigade. So the Springfield Brigade is armed with 1855 Springfield rifled muskets, very good weapons. The Lorenz musket equips the Iron Brigade, and the Lorenz rifled musket also equips the Irish Brigade. As we move down the tally, sort of the first division would kind of be like our Guards division, and the reason I've given these units these custom names is the fact that I want to make sure I understand as we go into the battlefield that I can have these units stand out and understand what they are. As we move to the second division, you'll see it's under Ulysses S. Grant as the commander, and it likewise has 3 infantry brigades and 1 artillery battery. I should have mentioned Bass has a 16-gun battery. It's a rather weak battery of only 6-pound field guns, but nonetheless, the infantry is all crack. The Bison Brigade, likewise, is equipped with very good weapons, the Springfield M1855 rifled muskets. The Red Devils are equipped with Lorenz's rifled muskets and are another very strong brigade. You can see these stats are not as strong as the 1st Division's, but still a very quality division. However, the Wharton Brigade, it just has a generic name based on Arthur Wharton, their commander, and that's because they are armed with Springfield M1842s, which are basically just smoothbore percussion-capped muskets. So basically, not a very effective weapon. So 2/3 of this division are crack, and this unit has actually better artillery with the 12-pound howitzers. But nonetheless, it is a 2/3 very good equipped division with a little bit less experience than the 1st Division, so kind of the 2nd tier. And then our 3rd tier, our 3rd division would kind of be our sort of tier C division. Only 2 infantry brigades in this division, both armed with smoothbores. Only 1 cavalry brigade armed with sharps, and then 1 artillery battery. So it has Nelson's battery of 12-pound Napoleons, the best artillery piece in this corps, but the cavalry sort of dilutes the strength of the division. It does make it a little bit more mobile, but both infantry divisions are relatively green. The 1st Corps is commanded by George B. Gamer, which is me. You can see here he's a brigadier general. We are a brigadier general, but on the verge of promotion to major general. Now, we do have some major generals in command of our divisions. This would never happen where you have division commanders outranking an army commander, but I don't really feel like taking my personal character, which is George B. Gamer, and replacing him with a historical general. We're going to keep with our historical generals in positions underneath me. Someone just asked if we have Sherman. I don't recall. Let's take a look here. We've got Grant. Yep, William Sherman is commanding our 3rd division, that kind of hodgepodge division that we talked about. The 2nd Corps is under Andrew Porter, but there's nothing in the Corps right now, just the headquarters command. We do have 16,000 recruits, so we could easily fill this division out in terms of manpower, but we don't have a lot of money to basically build out the force in anything but just smoothbore weapons. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and jump into the Battle of Seven Pines without further ado. If we do win, we'll get $100,000 that we can use to reinforce our forces that are lost in the fight, so that's definitely going to be useful. But also, if there's any extra cash left over, we can use it to build our forces up and strengthen our forces, because in this game, as you may recall, all of these casualties and units carry over battle to battle. If we lose or if we fight a draw, we'll lose a little bit of reputation. We got a reputation score of 60 up here. If we were ever to drop to 0, we would be fired. But because we've won every single battle so far, we have a very strong reputation score. The government is very supportive of your efforts and can award you with additional resources if you have need. So we actually could, if we wanted, get $100,000 right now to make our forces even larger and stronger by using 18 reputation. So reputation of 0 gets you fired. You can spend until you hit reputation 20, which is why we have 40 to spend. So theoretically, if we needed more recruits, which we don't because we have 16,000, we could get both 5,000 recruits and $100,000 to spend. On the flip, we could do the $100,000 as well as 2,000 Springfield rifled muskets, some very good rifled muskets, or we could get some, commanders if we wanted some better historical commanders to fill out our ranks, Brigadier Generals Joseph Hooker and John Sedgwick. I don't think I need to do that for the Battle of Seven Pines, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of bypass doing anything there. Let's go ahead and jump into Seven Pines. The enemy is going to be a little bit weaker because we've won several of the previous battles, so we'll see how things work out. You can see here we can only bring 6 of our brigades to the fight, so we may have a corps of 12 brigades, but we can only bring 6 into the fight. We can only bring half of our corps into the fight. It looks like this battle is going to see us on the defensive, as historically the Battle of Seven Pines was, with the Confederates attacking toward our defensive positions. Let's go ahead and move forward, I guess. Looks like our intelligence estimates the enemy will have 15,000 men and 11 guns against us. We have 22,000 men and 63 guns. I'm not sure where that number comes from. If we pull our guys out, Oh, okay, so it looks like we've got 8,000 troops that we get as part of this battle. Some of these minor battles or earlier battles in the game, you actually get starting forces that are assigned to you as well. So let's go ahead. General, the situation is critical. Our center is under heavy pressure and will soon collapse. Okay, so these are the forces that we start with. Rebels will attack our divided forces and destroy them in detail. Advance a division, reinforce the center of our line, and stabilize our battlefront. The rest of your force will take position north of the Chickahominy River at Gaines Mill, where the next rebel attack is expected. Godspeed, General. Okay, so the logic behind the game only allowing you to bring 6 brigades in is that the Battle of Seven Pines has historically occurred south of the Chickahominy River. The Chickahominy River was flooded by some heavy rains, and the Union Army was divided with about 2/3 of the army was north of the Chickahominy River, and a third was south. General Joseph E. Johnston struck at the third that was to the south of the river. The 2/3 of the army remained north of the river, and actually during the course of the battle, the Second Corps under Bull Sumner did rush some reinforcements across pontoon bridges that were by no means safe. They were on the verge of breaking and floating away, but nonetheless, the battle was fought under ideal circumstances for the Confederacy, but bungled attacks and confused fighting led to more or less a draw, as well as the reinforcements that were rushed to the Union aid. So you can see here we can deploy up to 6 brigades. I'm actually going to not deploy my artillery here. I'm going to try and go mainly for infantry. I think that'll be more useful in this fight. So, do we want to go with our best units, or do we want to go with, you know, the cheapest to reinforce if we lose casualties? That I'm not certain of. But we'll go ahead with our infantry brigades. We've got our Springfields, we've got our Red Devils. So these are going to all be our best groups, our best units, mixed with one kind of weaker brigade. So we're going to have the rifle-equipped units as well as one rifled-musket unit. The Confederates are probably going to attack through these woods toward these forces. Birney's and Berry's troops here. There's a bit of a gap here that we'll probably want to race our forces into both north and south of this sort of farmstead. And then maybe if they overextend themselves, we can swing in on their flank. But really, it's going to be getting troops in to reinforce this line, because right now the Union line is really spread out. The main Confederate attack will probably go here. There's 2 understrength brigades that are holding this sort of defensive line in the middle, with 2 full-size brigades north and south of the gap, and very little linking them all up, so it's a bit of an exposed position. So probably want to let the starting units of the Union take the brunt of the initial Confederate attack, so we don't lose too many men of our own force. Because remember, these guys are not part of our corps. The troops over here under my command are part of my corps that carries over battle to battle, but these other brigades are not. So we may want to see, you know, we may want to give it some time, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with having all my best troops here. So the Springfields, I don't want to use them. They're by far our best troops. So I think I'm going to use Franklin's rifled muskets guys. I'm also going to replace the Iron Brigade with some rifled musket guys as well. Or not rifled muskets, just some kind of lower quality troops. So now it's about mixed. We've got 3 rifled units and we've got 3 non-rifled units, which is about the best mix we can have right now with our current command. Again, don't see the point in using artillery in this particular fight. It's out in the open, so I think we'll go ahead and jump in. I'm just posted in the chat, maybe a green unit on each flank. Probably a good idea. Right now, all of our strength is in the north, where all the weak troops are in the south. So we'll have Franklin and the Red Devils here. Those are the Red Devils and the Bisons, and then we'll have 1 unit in reserve. I'm going to make the Irish Brigade in reserve because they're part of that 1st division, that 1st elite division. So we'll have the most elite unit on the field is the Irish Brigade. They'll be in reserve, and then 2 weak and 1 weak, 1 strong, and 1 weak and 1 strong in the north, with a weak guy in the middle. All right, so I think that's going to about do it. So it's going to be weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, with strong in reserve, and then our supplies as well. I think we're about ready to go. Let's go ahead and start the fight off. Let's go ahead and race these guys in here. We'll hang him back a little bit, but I am going to kind of at least get him positioned to fill the gap. With Wharton coming up here. Actually, I kind of like the idea of Franklin holding these woods, pulling Carr back and around. This may be stupid. I just left this one brigade out here. This brigade could have been firing into them and supporting them the whole time. That was pretty stupid. I feel like the canister could do more damage. The good thing is the bulk of our inexperienced troops are armed with weapons that we've got like 9,000 of. We'll actually hang back just a little bit. Okay, so there's Carr. Franklin is our first brigade that we're really deploying to fight. Carr is one of the starting brigades. I wish I could have gotten Franklin into these woods. That would have been much more useful. There is no topographical map, unfortunately, in this game. I actually sent a request to the developers to see if that was something they were developing, and they said with the sheer number of maps involved in the game, that would be very difficult for them to offer, but it would be nice if there was a topographical map. I certainly agree with you all there. It can be very difficult at times to tell, you know, what is... Oh, Brigadier General Sherman is wounded. Well, that sucks. Gonna bring these brigades to the north, here to the south. Who's Sherman oh, Sherman's a division commander, so why is... Who's he with? Is he with Franklin or something? I'm bringing these troops from the north south a bit. Try and kind of flank the Confederates. Just a little bit. I think we might be able to catch this objective point a little bit in a bit of a pincer. If things work out. Hard to tell. What are these guys armed with? Ooh, nice. They've got some good weapons. Alright, come on, Franklin. Up on the left. Again, I haven't engaged the Irish Brigade. The Red Devils and the Bisons are both ideally placed. They're really not getting shot. Hi, Elena, by the way. I saw you there. Glad to see you back. Hope you're doing well. Alright, so again, going to kind of slowly flank south. Hopefully drive on the objective in this way. We'll see. I don't want to go too close to these woods until I've maybe had a little bit more better idea where the strength of the enemy is, just because these woods are going to be hard to take. I'd rather they be taken by non-core units. Alright, let's break some skirmishers off. Go play with these guys. Palmetto sharpshooters. Hood's gonna try and charge you, which is fine. Because he's just gonna charge into a lot stronger units. And some canister, for good measure. Okay. I forget which difficulty I'm playing on, but I think it's medium. Hey, Kushin, glad to see you here. Alright. So far... Oh, Bernie, you're getting kind of exposed up there. Don't go too far. Alright. So far, so good. Strengthen my, flank here a bit. Irish forward. And Hood was broken and driven back. Alright, so advance in the south here a bit. Let the artillery kind of continue doing its work. What are these guns doing? Get them a little bit closer. We'll get Abercrombie, or I'll call him Abercrombie, down here to the south a bit. As long as no one comes in here on this north flank, we're in decent shape. Get these guys into the woods where they've got some cover. And keep the rebels out in the open. All right. All right, let's get rid of you skirmishers. Go join your brigade now. And then with the non-core units, I'm gonna kind of press here a bit. Kind of keep driving the enemy back. They've got, you know, their morale is down a bit because of the starting advantage. Why are you running? Shoot. So we actually have a morale advantage as well. I think they just wasted a volley on DH Hill. Alright. The center is pretty nice and secured here at this point. Now, at this point, you don't want to lose too much in the way of casualties, really. I think that's what it comes down to. Bison, you'll kind of go refuse the flank in case anyone comes up to hit him. You can't... I don't know if you can you kill corps commanders? I'm not sure. Division commanders can definitely be killed. Yes, Kushin, I'm playing a game I've played to death. I started a Let's Play with it. I want to finish it, okay? Sorry. And I'm a bit of a Civil War buff, if you haven't been able to tell. Alright. Well, I disappeared, Elena, because I moved. We bought a place, and basically took like a month before I even had my computer situated. I would like to play some more multiplayer sessions with Kushin. I just, you know, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want the schedule for my channel to be. And, you know, do I want to have certain games on certain days, or do I want to kind of binge in certain games when new things come out? I'm not quite sure how I want to handle that yet. But rest assured, I definitely want to... well, I'm going to figure things out. Did record vids with my name pronounced. Alright, well, I have to check those out. I haven't, I guess I missed those while I was out. With your name pronounced. So I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it wrong every single time when I say Elena. you know, if you want to believe I'm making excuses, Kushin, that's fine. Alright, so we've got him, I wouldn't say on the run. Franklin, you're in my core, aren't you? Yeah, let's have you fall back. I don't want to lose. 500 men in a unit that I don't need to. Just have Robinson take up the slack. Red Devils are in good shape. Carr can kind of do what he needs to, and I think we're actually in pretty good shape here. Why are they running? I never told them to run. Did I? I don't think I issued the double quick. Alright, so get those guys killed. Well, apparently I've prompted a large-scale rebel counterattack here, which is not what I was trying to do. Oh no, Red Devils are getting shot. Red Devils commanders KIA. Damn it. Get into the woods. Get your cover. I'm trying to protect the troops in the north. They're my, they're mostly my crack troops. The only real crack troops down here are Red Devils. Two of the 4 brigades down here are not even in my core of units here, so that's kind of why I'm holding them back. Because I don't really care if they. I mean, to sound like Ulysses S. Grant is, I don't really care if they get killed. You know, they're there to serve a purpose, and it's to help me win this fight. And frankly, they can break my flank here, and it doesn't even matter because they're not going to be able to retake the objective before time runs out. But I think we're about to be good here. 1 minute. So Franklin lost about 500 men, which is not ideal. But the rest of my force is pretty strong. The Irish didn't even really engage. You can see here we deployed 17,000 troops, 17,000 troops, 2,700 casualties against 4,800 enemies. If we look at the officers, we did see William Sherman wounded, which is unfortunate. George B. Gamer, me, is promoted to Major General. Huzzah! This is campaign, Justin. And Kelly Walton was killed. We rescued some of our own weapons. We also captured some Enfields and some CS Richmonds. While rescuing some of our artillery, which weren't even... I didn't deploy a single battery of mine, so these might as well be captured. So that's all good. We'll go ahead and move forward to the between battle phase. You can see here we just won the War Service Medal, which I'm not sure why, but we did. +4 reputation, +1 career point, $100,000 of cash. So... the War Service Medal doesn't say what it's for, but we earned it, and that's another victory for us. 7 Pines is added to our unbroken string of victories you can see here. If we go back to the Army, we can see the Red Devils did lose about 260 men. It'll cost us about, well, those are rookies, cost us about 10 grand, so about 10% of our earnings to replace their casualties with the veterans, which I want to do because they're amongst our best troops. So we'll go ahead and do that. Wharton lost 3 men. So that'll be easy to replace. Artillery's all fine. The Bison Brigade lost 3 men as well. So all of our crack troops replaced for the cost of about 10 grand. Franklin's kind of non-veterans will be really cheap to replace, but we'd lose a lot. They actually gain quite a bit of experience. So we'll use the 16,000 to replace their casualties. And then we'll go ahead and replace the casualties of Leppin with veterans. We're basically going with all veteran replacements here. So that still leaves us a $68,000 net positive here. So that's a good, outcome, obviously. We should probably increase Army organization, but here's the hesitancy here. So I want to start building more than one corps, right? I want to build, multiple corps, because when it comes to the grand battles like Gaines Mill, which is what we're about to fight, we're going to need multiple corps in order to effectively fight, especially as you get into the later battles. The problem is, if we increase Army org, we've got to waste all that money filling out these divisions because this will increase to a 2,000-man brigade. So I'm not really sure. Elena, the veterans come from Winfield Scott Hancock's veteran corps that he tried to raise in late 1864 when he left the Army of the Potomac. No, I'm just making that up. The George B. Gamer promoted. We should also pick our traits here. So we now can choose from infantry, which increases our melee, firearms, and reloading. We can choose from artillery, which increases our artillery effectiveness, or cavalry. I'm definitely going to go with infantry. I'm an infantry-heavy commander, and now we are a major general in command. Second corps is empty, guys. Completely empty. There's nothing here. It's a phantom corps. So, anyway. Let's go ahead and find some new commanders for these guys who were killed. I haven't used my reputation yet. I've kind of just sat on my reputation, which I think I can continue to do for the moment. We'll have Erasmus Keyes be a brigadier. And then the 3rd Division needs a general. So we'll go ahead and promote Franklin. Let's bring in, I don't know who this is. Heitzer. Brigadier, and then that'll free up Franklin. So there you go. So Franklin's going to fill in for William Sherman. If we go to the barracks, we'll see here we've got several wounded commanders. We've got Heinzelman, Sherman, and Nelson all wounded, as well as Baxter and Loomis. I believe the wounded troops all become unwounded after you fight a major battle or grand battle. So after Gaines Mill, I believe all of these will be back to healthy. Let's see here. $68,000, we can either start building the 2nd Corps out, we can increase the size of our 1st Corps by increasing our Army org, or we can improve the weapons that our troops are carrying. So I want to make the 2nd Division all crack. So let's give them, they've got 1,300 Springfields in the armory, we can go ahead and equip them for only 5,000. So you can see here we've now got an entire 2nd Division of rifle-armed troops. Still leaves us $50,000. Yeah, given it's Gaines Mill, we're probably going to need to build this 2nd Corps. So we need to assign a division commander, of which we have none. Apparently there's no one in reserve, really? I spent all the money on everybody who's a brigadier or higher. Well, I guess we're going to have to use that reputation. So we'll go ahead and use 8 reputation, which I was trying to avoid doing, but, you know, did it. We lose a morale bonus. Lose 8 reputation. So we'll go ahead and put Sedgwick in command of the 1st Division. And we'll raise some infantry brigades, 1,500 men. Not going to use Hooker because I need him to command the 2nd Division. Go ahead and just kind of start buying some lieutenant colonels. And let's see here. We've got a bunch of Springfield 1842s, but I'd rather make some of these units equipped with quality weapons. We could go with pattern 1853 Enfields. It'd be a little bit shy of a full build-out, though. Can I build this? Oh, I need 1,500 men for a full brigade. This would cost 40 grand. Yikes. Well, we're going to have to go with some Springfield smoothbores. So this division is going to be mostly junk. Do this, actually. Another lieutenant colonel in here, and then we're going to equip these guys with the pattern Enfield. Actually, maybe we do this. Maybe we sell some of those weapons. Let's see here. Sell these, we get 17,000 more. Alright, I'm gonna sell the Enfields. We can use that money on some 1855s, which we have more available of anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and another infantry brigade. It's going to be another lieutenant colonel. Then we're going to go ahead and use 1855 Springfields. $40,000. Nothing in the armory. Great. There we go. All right, armory. Let's see here. The next one's going to have to be just regular Springfield, I think. Go ahead and build a new green brigade. It's going to be another Lieutenant Colonel, Wes Buckley. He's going to be using 1842s. So there you go. Then we're going to need an artillery battery with these guys. We've got some artillery in reserve. So we've got, say, two Parrots, which I may sell for a little bit of cash. And so we've got 5 Napoleons and 7 10-pound ordnance rifles. So we're going to go ahead and build a battery with 10-pound ordnance rifles. We're not putting a general in command of that. We'll give a major the job. And we'll actually have it be... Can we have it a 16-gun battery? How expensive is that? We can afford that. So we'll go ahead and do that. So this is a relatively green... apparently the unit's too large for a major to have efficient command, which means they're going to be loading slowly. So let's go ahead and increase them to Lieutenant Colonel. Officer's rank's too low for the size of the unit. Really? You just wasted a Lieutenant Colonel's... whatever, we'll switch back to the main. Alright, and then the 2nd division is going to be Joe Hooker's division. We're going to go ahead and go with some more infantry using these Springfields. We don't have money for anything else. Wait, I just put a major in charge of that. Lieutenant Colonel. And then we'll go ahead and add an artillery battery as well with the artillery that we already have in stock, the Napoleons. Let's see if we can afford 16. Damn. What about 10? We can afford 10. Okay, we'll do that. So a 10-gun battery of Napoleons, and then actually we're going to go ahead and sell... We don't have any Parrot weapons yet, so we're going to go ahead and sell those. It'll give us money for another division commander, I think. But we're all out of lieutenant colonels as well, so we're going to have a major in charge of 1,500 infantrymen. So that's a little bit dubious. So you can see here we've built the 2nd Corps out, but it's not a very good corps at the moment. We're 2 of the potential max 3 divisions. We've got good division commanders in Hooker and Sedgwick. Got a relatively good division in the 1st division with 1 well-armed brigade, 2 poorly armed brigades, and some decent artillery. The 2nd division is much weaker with all green troops, all Springfield weapons, and then a small artillery battery. But nonetheless, the 2nd Corps may provide some use. It's 9,100 men with 26 guns, so 9,000 infantry, 26 artillery pieces with 650 artillerymen, and then the 1st Corps of 12,870 soldiers and 48 guns. So, yeah, I mean, that's a decent 2nd Corps, I suppose. We've got reasonable supply here. And then we're going to have to, you know, increase our... I should have used this before I was spending all that money equipping those troops. But we'll... maybe medicine. That'll bring back 4% of our casualties in the next fight. Which, you know, could be useful. Especially given that we don't have a ton of money and we could lose Gainesmill. It's a tough fight. If we win it, we gain all the prestige back, all 8 we spent, and then some. As well as $200,000. If we draw, we still get $150,000. If we lose, we get a huge hit. We lose about half our prestige. And the recruits I'm less worried about because, you know, I could lose half my army and I still have enough recruits to replace them. It's just a matter of the money to equip them. But I think we're going to go ahead and spend that money or the career point on medicine because we don't, you know, the more troops we can bring back with medicine, the better off we will be. Right now, where I think maintaining our army is really important. Plus, I don't think there's any minor skirmishes. I think we go from a grand battle in Gainesmill to a grand battle in what's it called? Malvern Hill. So I think we go grand battle to grand battle is kind of how this is all set up. But with that being said, guys, I know this was a short stream, but I just wanted to kind of go ahead and touch base, bounce back into a game I haven't touched for a while, and, you know, get the series going again. Look for maybe one of these a week. I don't think we'll see a lot of Ultimate General in a high-intensity environment, but I would say probably one Ultimate General video a week for the foreseeable future, so I don't wear Kushin or Elena out too much with covering a game I've got like 80 videos of. So I hope you guys enjoyed the somewhat abbreviated stream. I'm going to go ahead and jump off, and thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.